You're probably gonna have to repeat this because I was not paying attention. But alright, I am ready to start. You guys ready to start?
I said the equivalent is 2 years ago when Van Dijk tore his ACL, them trading Van Dijk for Mbappe. I think that's
That's
the
where.
equivalent.
That's the equivalent for this Luka trade.
I think it is.
Hmm. See, I was thinking more of like based on a game we saw today and the squads we saw there. This would be like a Martin Odegaard for Ruben Diaz. That's how I saw it.
No.
No, it's not even as
No, Martin
big of
Odegaard's
names.
not anywhere near Luka Doncic
One of the
level.
one of the stars of the team getting traded for
No.
a 31-year-old.
No. Martin
No.
Odegaard's not one of the 5 best players in the world.
Yeah, but that's the NBA. Like, there's less players. Percentage-wise, it makes sense that Odegaard's still up there.
No.
Okay, you know what? You don't want to do math? It's cool. Lando, you better not hit that. I'm on you
No,
today.
bro. It'd be like a. Bro,
Don't
it'd
worry, I'm on you today.
be more like a Vinny for Kevin De Bruyne.
That's a good one. I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's where I see it. I mean, I would say maybe 2 years ago. That's probably where like Vinny hasn't really come on to the scene as much as he has now. But De Bruyne, obviously coming off the Premier League titles and all that, considered one of the best midfielders in the world. I mean,
So what
I think
AD
it'd be-
do? AD has all those titles? AD has all those titles?
Why are you hating on Anthony Davis like he's not a top 10
Oh,
player in the league right now?
yeah, this
I'm
guy's-
not even saying that.
Anthony Davis is literally in the second tier of NBA players right now.
Yeah,
Would
but
you consider him elite?
Anthony Davis, of course. Yeah.
He's in the
Yeah.
second. He's in the second tier.
Would you consider-
there's Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Luka, Tatum, and then the second tier is your LeBron, Durant.
So
AD,
you're telling me
Curry,
so
there's-
Odegaard's not in the first tier of the Premier League?
No,
No.
He's not?
no,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
no.
That's how he's starting. Okay. All right. No, it's fine.
Dude, if you're in the first tier, you have to be the best player on your team. He's not even the best player on his team.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
He's
Sorry,
not-
Kenny.
Okay.
Dude, we just named the tier list. There's 5 guys in the NBA that are on their own level.
Think about how many players in the Premier League versus how many in the NBA. Of course, the number is going to be smaller. Like, what are you talking about?
Common sense.
Okay, cool. Hello, everyone.
We're talking-
Welcome to.
You're just angry for no reason.
I'm ready to
You
go.
guys literally talked
I'm ready
a
to
week ago.
pod.
You guys
I'm
literally
ready to
talked a
pod.
week ago about Odegaard. You didn't even know what position he should play in. So what are we doing?
If you're trying to tell me that Odegaard's not in the top tier of Premier League players, then it's fine.
He's
I'm
not.
just ready to introduce the pod.
He's not. We don't need to introduce
Nah,
the
bro.
pod. We can just talk about
I'm ready
this
to
right
introduce
now.
the pod. I'm ready to introduce
How
the
many
pod.
how many players are in the top tier of Premier League players, or not Premier League players in the world? How many players are there?
I said Premier League.
Well, this isn't the Premier League. This is around
Yeah.
the world.
Around the world,
Different-
how many
different
players
leagues.
in the top tier?
Yeah.
Probably like the Ballon d'Or list.
Cool. Was Odegaard on the Ballon d'Or list, though?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Inform me. I genuinely don't know. I'm gonna put my hands up. I don't know.
Just because we watched a Phil Foden disaster class does not
This is
mean
crazy.
that one
This is
game.
so crazy.
No, it's not crazy because for the last 8 weeks we've talked about how Martin Odegaard hasn't been that good. So he has one game, and now it's like, oh, let's put Martin Odegaard in the same conversations as Vinny and Mbappe and Jude. Why
I'm
are
not
we
doing
doing
that.
this?
I'm
Well-
not doing that.
Well, if he's in the
I'm
top
not-
tier, that's what he is. If he's in the top tier, those are the people we're comparing him to. We're
Yeah, but think
comparing
about
him
it.
to Jude and Pedri and all these beautiful, wonderful talents. And that's the tier we're putting him in. And if that's the tier you want to put him in, you can put him there. I'm saying he is in that second tier, which the majority of great players sit in.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that intro. Welcome to another episode of the Remotely Related Pod. I am one of your hosts, Kenny. And before I introduce the other beautiful voices you heard just now, I do want to let you know that we appreciate likes, comments, subscribes on the YouTube, and then any hearts, stars, reviews on Apple and Spotify. It goes a long way. But I think it's only right that this was the cast for the pod today. The other two, do you guys want to have a word on the other two, or should I just introduce you guys?
No, I don't want to say too much about the other two. I missed last week. That's on me. We don't need to have this discussion. Let's just move on to what is important here, and that's the football.
I do want to say one thing because
Lando.
those two never leave an opportunity to stab me in the back. So I want to say, Muck, this is 2 episodes in a row. Third one, you're out. And Jacob, understand you don't look at your phone and you're helping your mother right now, so I will give you the benefit of the doubt. But other than that, Muck, you're on the hot seat, bud.
Fair enough. Obviously, big weekend in the Prem. And for viewers out there, we're going to typically talk about 2 or 3 big games and then have some tidbits on the other ones. But, yeah, honestly, something happened today. We had predictions for it. Someone's in an Arsenal kit right now. Lando, what do you think?
Well, it was a great day.
It doesn't matter what you think. Are you kidding me? I saw the prediction video. I helped edit the video. 2-0 City. 2-0 City.
Hear me
This
out.
is crazy. This is
Hear me out.
crazy. Your
Hear me
star
out.
boy has the initials MLS. That's American heritage secretly. And you couldn't even support your boys? The
Hear
floor
me
is
out.
yours, but this is crazy.
Hear me out. You know what? Sometimes people do things where, regardless, it's a win-win situation, correct? So, in the prediction, yes, I said City 2-0, but at the end of the day, did I really want this Arsenal win? Yes. And look, would I have been upset if Man City won 2-0? No, I wouldn't have, because I would have been perfectly correct about my prediction. But it's even sweeter that not only did we win, but we won 5-1, and dude, I couldn't even tell you how excited I am. It's been great. Last time I wore this kit, probably about 4 years. It doesn't even really fit me anymore, but
Huh.
big one for the Gunners. Come on. Shout out to all the other supporters in the friend group that are Gunners. I know it's a great day. Some almost as equivalent as getting engaged. I know it's really up there on one of the best
Who the
days
heck
of
got
the year.
engaged? Who the heck got engaged?
No one got
Was it
engaged.
John Jingleheimer Smith?
No.
We got to talk about the biggest game of the weekend. And Lando didn't mention Shameless. I was in the kit, a bit shameless, but honestly, it's fine. 5-1 the Gunners over Man City. I think we can probably just go through it like first half, second half, overall thoughts. But yeah, what were the expectations heading into this game?
I think it's a great win. But in terms of the expectations, I think we've been absolutely bamboozled by this City team, because we talk about it every week, and then they'll have a performance and they'll play well for about 60 minutes, and then they'll just go back to stinking it up. And the way that they started this game, by continually playing themselves into danger in the first half for no reason at all, when last week we talked about how they were direct as shit, they were playing over the top, they weren't playing through Chelsea's press, it wasn't worth the aggravation. And then they come out today at the Emirates, and you think you're going to play through them. You're not going to play through them. Arsenal have a better team on the pitch than City did today. And I'm more concerned with what Pep did today, because it's just like beating his head into a wall. Great win for Arsenal, a must-win game. They had to win it to even put themselves in contention of winning something. But I think we really have underestimated how poor City have been.
And I completely agree, but I want to harken back to what you just mentioned. First couple minutes of the game, giveaway. Lando, do you want to talk us through the thought process here? Like, was it more of John Stone shouldn't have played that pass? Was it Akanji should have cleared it? Like, What are your thoughts here?
I think it was a mix of both. Don't really know what was going on. That diagonal pass from John Stones from, that area of the field. But Akanji, I mean, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? What are you, like, he just looked dysfunctional trying to dribble and then just got his pocket picked. And, we'll take those any time of any year. Any time of the day, any time of the year, we'll take those. Good thing he finished. If he didn't, I mean, touch upon it a little bit later. There's some people who on this team who can't do that. But
yeah, no, it looked like
when he squared it, I was like, that's a man that is praying to God that he does not have to shoot this ball right now.
yeah,
He squared it, and he probably made the right decision by squaring it. I don't know many strikers that would square it in that position, but he made the right decision, and they go 1-0 up. And I think towards the end of the first half, if we want to move forward just a little bit, I think City were coming on a little bit towards the end of the first half. I think you saw Marmoush starting picking up spaces, picking up the ball. And again, I want to say, I thought he was really good again. And I know some of us have our doubts about him, but I think he's going to be a good player. I don't know how he fits in the system in terms of what Phil Foden was doing today, because that was shocking. But you get to halftime, and that was important. Arsenal got to halftime up 1-0, dominated the first 20 minutes. City started to play, get some chances the last 20 minutes. David Raya, unbelievable.
Best keeper in the
end of
world?
the first half.
What a save.
Possibly.
he's up there.
He's up there, top 5 for sure. Kept it 1-0 going into halftime. Kenny?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it was kind of interesting to see how Arsenal was in attack throughout the first half. The biggest thing that I noticed was that Arsenal's threats came from City's mistakes. Like, there wasn't much creativity going on with Arsenal, and I think that was one of the call-outs that a lot of people had with just how Arsenal's been playing this season and how everything's looked. Like, there wasn't really much of an attack, even though they have the likes of the Havertz, the Trossards, Odegaards, whoever. The cooler thing, I guess, throughout the half was the transition of when City actually started to, like, implement, like, some dominance. And as Smitty was saying, like, there were chances created. Raya had to make some saves. And I think the biggest call-out for it was that they tried a diagonal switch ball, like Benny tried back in his college days, to Matheus Nunes. I think we all need to sit back and realize, why are we hitting a diagonal ball to Matheus Nunes? What do we expect him to do against Lewis Kelly? I was so confused because everything's leading up well, everything's going good, but you try to get your attack down the right with Matheus Nunes.
I don't know if you guys remember from the first half that the diagonal that got played to Vardiol, and he took it down, and then he whipped the ball across the box on like a half volley. It was
crazy.
One of the most disgusting crosses of a football that I've seen in a very long time. But going back to what you said, Matheus Nunes is playing right back. Now, City have spent, over 150 million this January. How many holes do they still have in their team? They don't have a right back. Their midfield has no legs left. Like, it's crazy
they need a
to say.
goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, they need like a number one.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Wait, so Ortega's not good enough for the number one spot?
He
I don't
did
know if
not
he is
look
or he
good
isn't,
today.
but
He did not look good today.
I know he didn't look good today, but I'm just saying overall. I don't know.
I mean, Ederson didn't look too hot last game against Chelsea. I mean, he had some issues, distributing the ball out, but I mean, he hasn't been historically great this season. And Ortega, I mean, look at some of Ortega. I mean, he's let up a couple games with 4+ goals.
I think they'll probably stick with Ortega long term because the collection of goalkeepers that you could buy is probably very slim. And it's a position that every team in the world needs to solidify. But like the midfield, like I do not want Bernardo Silva in midfield. Like he's becoming like this luxury player that's like, dude, it's great. You still have an amazing first touch. You're still incredibly aesthetically pleasing. But they got this man tracking back and doubling up on Martinelli. It's like, I don't want to see Bernardo Silva doing any defensive work. And Kovacic, I mean, poor Kovacic we talked about how he's had a pretty good season given the circumstances that he's trying to fill in for Rodri. Tell that dog to shut up.
Relax, bro.
He heard Bernardo started barking.
Yeah,
But,
bro.
yeah, like I feel bad
He
for
hears you talking about
Bernardo.
some dogs, bro.
I feel bad for Bernardo. Kovacic, like his legs are gonna fall off one of these weeks. Like he's the only one in midfield running. And then I mean Nunez at right back. Like I guess he's the only option they have. Maybe Philip Walter Foden.
Wait, he'll be second half
Okay,
talk real quick.
we can save him to the end.
We are about to get there because, as we said, like the first half it was pretty balanced with Arsenal having a lot of control, then City kind of taking over. But I did just want to call out one more thing. See, on the stream that I had, it's the UK one. Don't ask why. But after Arsenal scored, I don't know if they showed it on like the American stream, but did anyone see what Gabriel did to Haaland? And do we want to talk about that real quick? Because I love it. I love it.
It is
I want
what
to put
it
a
is.
disclaimer out there. I just watched the highlights a little bit ago. I was actually during the game, listen to this, played pickleball at a pickleball warehouse with the boys.
Can
First
you just
time
take
ever.
the jersey off, please?
Take the jersey off.
Bro.
Take
No, listen.
I
It was
playing
an
pickleball.
experience.
I didn't watch the game. I was with my buddies playing paddle, having a couple beers, having a couple drinks, and then me and my buddies, we after the game, we post on our Instagram stories, look, they got it. Woo! It's turning the season around. We're back in the title race.
crazy.
Everybody
I
stay
wasn't
humble.
worried. I wasn't worried about the game. That's why.
Obviously, you didn't care about the game. That's clear.
No, listen to this.
You-
It was
you
great.
don't-
No,
Your mood wouldn't have, if they would have lost 4-0 today, your mood wouldn't have changed at all. You wouldn't have
I'm playing with the random, older gentleman, John. Like we were just tearing it up on
John
the court.
Jacobs.
Jingle Heimer.
Winner
name was
stays
my name,
on.
too.
Oh my, dude, guys, listen. What they closed the courts because there's a clinic, so we had to go to the advanced courts. Oh, I've never been humbled as quick in my life as possible. But back to the game.
Those people that play, they play for real. Dude.
Oh,
Like-
dude, it is like they got sunglasses, they got their visors. It's like the
No, they do this for real.
Dude, you'd think if you're like athletic and you have good hand-eye coordination, like you'd be good. But then you see like these old men that are like out of shape and 50 years old and they got bad wrist structure. They got like the flappy wrist and shit. But like they'll dog you in these games, and it's kind of depressing to think about. To be honest with you,
it was kind of cool though. It's like you pay $10 and you can stay for as long as possible. It's like my last 2 games I played with this guy who's been there 5 hours. I'm like, say less.
5 hours is too much, but I'm thinking with this older age, maybe that'll be the Dallas Mavs at the unction. Maybe they can get Clay Davis and Kyrie going for one last dance. But we can
Dallas Mavericks.
I didn't see the replays. I just watched the highlights. Look good. Second half, I'm ready.
To answer your question, Kenny, it's good banter. I enjoy it.
It's good for the sport.
Fair enough. Okay.
We're getting too soft out there. We're getting too soft.
Okay.
Stay humble.
So, I mean, I think that's something that Phil Foden has to follow. So
he's pulling out the choppers, letting them bang on Arsenal. This guy, what he did today.
Paintball guns.
I want to take this back to when Liverpool played Man United a couple weeks ago, and Trent had that absolute stinker. And the public outcry was all, Trent's head's not in it. Trent can't defend. Why isn't anyone saying that Philip Walter Foden might be the biggest luxury player in the history of the sport?
Ooh.
Let me read this tweet. Listen,
Ooh.
this is very, very an extreme answer to this. But tell me this isn't one of the funniest tweets you've ever seen. Foden is like a small luxury, like when you buy a Ninja Creamy or something. Most kitchens don't have one, and they do catch the eye. Very high quality, but so unbelievably useless most of the time.
Nah. That's. I mean, after today, I'm not mad at it because Phil Walter. There's some conversations that might need to be had.
Yes, but we can't. This guy won Premier League Player of the Year last season. He cannot play this bad. He cannot.
Yeah.
Like, there's no excuse to play this bad. And I don't want to hear that he doesn't have help, because the defensive side of the ball, if the center backs want to complain that they don't have help, I'm okay with that. You have Holland up top. You have Marmouche, who looks like a promising player. You have, who played Savinho, who...
He played great.
Savinho had a
Before
good
he
performance.
gets to speed. Yeah.
Savinho had a good
Go.
performance. All things considered, he had a good performance. But Phil Foden, you cannot get away with this. You have to be held to the same standards that we hold Cole Palmer when he plays bad, that we hold Odegaard to when he plays bad. For some reason, I feel like Foden gets this exception, and he's like he might be the most protected English player in the Prem, I think, for no reason at all.
I'm not mad at that take, and I think even going further with Phil Foden, all the praise that he was getting, everything that everyone saw, sometimes you shouldn't need help. The way that we view you, you're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to step up when things are tough. And if you're bringing the team down bad, like not every time, but like this game, like it's not good enough. It's not good enough. If you're supposed to have this expectation, this ceiling, you're supposed to take England to promised land. Come on. This isn't good.
But I feel like this is like a consistent thing with him, though. Like, I feel like this isn't just today. Like, I feel like he has a history of doing this against good teams, where he's just kind of out there. And this guy's supposed to be the solution to KDB not being able to run anymore. Like, he's supposed to be this creative player that provides Holland and scores himself.
Exactly.
And today, it looked like he was just out there enjoying life, couldn't care less. Maybe
not during the second half. He certainly wasn't enjoying life. But you did mention Holland. Do you want to speak on the goal? Because it was a good header. To be fair,
it's pretty bad defending. To be fair, too.
From who specifically? I'm just curious.
Saliba.
Oh, okay.
But-
Okay.
Swim move.
But I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's a massive human being that is athletic as hell, and once he gets a goal side of you, you're completely at his mercy.
Yeah,
And it's a really good header. So
it's
Great
very
ball.
good.
Great ball by Sabinho.
Yeah, another GA for Savinho, another goal for Holland. But honestly, it really didn't matter because honestly, we can keep bashing City, but we should probably just switch over.
I'll be
Arsenal's
honest.
Performance.
I was a little bit concerned. I don't know about you, or I wasn't concerned. I couldn't care less. But I was thinking that once it got the 1-1, I didn't know how the game was going to go. I felt like
they come back.
Yeah, I felt like it had a
Same old.
chance that City was just going to go again and end up winning 3-1. But then, I mean, Foden gives the ball away, Partey nicks it, and then it deflects off John Stones into the back of the goal, and then they concede again like 3 minutes after that, and then it's done and dusted.
I think going off of that with Phil Foden and everything, what I noticed with Phil Foden was a head loss. And that simply didn't happen with just him. It happened with the entire team. And I know Partey got the goal and it deflected, but I do want to call him out because I actually thought he was quite good. I'm never the biggest Thomas Partey fan. I understand Arsenal fans love him to death and whatever. But for me, I just haven't really seen enough. But it was quite a good performance, and I generally think he deserved that goal. I think it was 150th appearance or 100th appearance, something like that. He played well. Smitty, any thoughts?
Smitty seems like he wants to say something.
For legal reasons, the remotely related podcast will not be praising any good faith on Thomas Partey, and we will not be giving him any credit until these things are sorted out in Spain.
So that's fine, but I'm just talking about on the pitch. Whatever happens off the pitch, that's for the Premier League and everyone else to decide.
I don't think he should even be on the pitch, but that's not for me to decide.
Well, that's fine. We can move to another midfielder who I thought actually shined in the second half, and that was Declan Rice. I thought he was pretty quiet in the first half. I thought like they didn't get the ball to him enough, but once he got involved. Once he's able to thread that ball for Lewis Skelly, once he's able to get in these pockets, it was looking good. So Declan Rice, I was gonna say some things before the game happened, but to be honest, what a comeback! What a performance! So
This guy,
yeah,
this guy's a box to box 6. That's where he's his best. That's where he's
yeah,
his
but is
best.
that even a position though?
Yeah, or
A box,
box 8. Sorry, box,
Okay,
box 8.
okay.
There you
Sorry,
go.
sorry,
Okay.
sorry. I think he's so much better when he has a little more defensive cover in the midfield with him. But that could also just be Arsenal's system. Like, we'll find out when he goes to England and plays with Tuchel if he's best as a 6 or an 8, because I think that's when he'll be able to really showcase how good he is.
Yeah, I completely agree.
The last thing I'll say about Declan is when you sign for $100 million and everyone stops talking about how expensive you were, that's when you know you have officially made it and you have done your job. So shout out to him.
Shout out Declan.
Shout
What
out
am I-
for one of our signings working out.
Fair enough.
Well, Ollie Watkins signing doesn't look like it's going to happen, so you might be stuck with Kai up top.
Hey, we
He's on the transfer block.
He's up there playing like Caillou.
well, before we get to King Kai, we do have to give a shout out to Miles Lewis Skelly. Like this is one of your own. This is one of Arsenal's own, and for him to put in the performance that he did, for him to get the goal, for him to actually be brave in an Arsenal attack that I would say wasn't too brave. Sometimes all you got to do is make sure the shots you have are on target, and that's exactly what he did. Do we think Ortega should have saved it?
Yes, but dude, Lewis Skelly, I found this out today. Apparently, he's a midfielder. In the academy, he played as a midfielder his whole life. So I don't know if that's something that they might go back to when everyone's fit, but it's kind of intriguing playing him as a left back. He gives you something different than Arsenal's typical 4 center backs playing across their back line. And he's brilliant. Like, he's one of the next good English players that's going to come through the national team and make an impact.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. But I think it's actually interesting you bring that up, because if we watched throughout the game, what Lewis Skelly was doing, he was going into the midfield and being like a CDM for Saliba or Gabriel or whoever. And just the movement off the ball, you could tell that he was a midfielder. And you can just tell by how composed he is that he doesn't shy away from the big moments. And doing this at 17, 18 years old, however old he is, it's class. It's absolute class. I was happy to see him get the goal.
Luke Shaw might be losing his spot on the English national team at the left back spot.
Shaw. The heck did I just hear? Luke Shaw.
Speaking of, I will say, this inverted outside backs that come in and play inside the midfield, I think this is one of the most technical, brilliant changes to football that we've seen in a while. Like, if you look
The outside backs coming in.
yeah, the outside backs playing inside. And I think that not every team in the world can do it. I think it's only teams that have wingers that can stay wide and control the game. So if you have a Saka, if you have a Salah, I'd even throw and Grealish is on the pitch, he can stay wide and control the ball. But having the ability to having that extra person in the middle of the pitch, it's just such an advantage. And I think you see all the top teams in the world are doing it more and more now.
Because I think based on what you're saying, it gives you that control. It just gives you that stability. So even when you do lose the ball up the field, you can win it back so quick and then just be on the attack again. So yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that evolution's really good.
It's also just it's very hard to defend when you're out on that outside back comes in. It just depends if you're playing with 3 in the midfield or 4, whatever. Depends on what the other opposing team is lining up with, but you're always going to have that advantage.
Yeah.
And you need
yeah,
a technically gifted player to do it. Like, you need somebody that has the ability on the ball that isn't probably a traditional fullback. Like, Lewis Skelly's doing it. Trent was doing it a bunch. Rico Lewis does it when he plays right back. It's all guys that probably aren't natural fullbacks, that are probably more naturally midfielders that are just out there playing fullback. So it makes a lot of sense. I think it's brilliant.
I hear it. I hear it. And I think we can move on to the next goal scorer here. I'm going to ISO this situation just to Lando real quick. As you were going through and seeing the chances from the first half and second half of King Kai, what are your thoughts and what are your current thoughts about your current number 9?
I want to stick by it. Hashtag Havertz outs. Put it in the comments below. There's no reason why a number 9 should be missing of opportunity like that without a goalkeeper, and then basically on his line. Inexcusable.
Just not hitting the target. I mean,
he should have took the jersey completely off and thrown it in the trash can because that's where it belongs. I don't care if he scored in the second half.
You didn't like his goal?
It was a nice goal. I'll give it to him. But listen, I mean, it was already 3-1 at that point. Man City was losing it, mentally gone.
You don't want to give him anything?
I am not a fan of him. I'm sorry. Fair. I gave him a shot, but I mean, Chelsea can have him back. I think it was a self-sabotage. They knew what was going wrong with him. He was always meant for the Bundesliga, and he shouldn't have come over to the Prem. Wasn't built for it.
He's a 9.5. Like, he's not a 9, and he's never going to be a 9. Like, he's not going to develop the ability to just bury chances for him. It's not going to happen. He's too old for it to just click. I will say, I think that Arsenal fans can take a little page out of Liverpool's book with Nunez and just back him and be like, you know what? He's here. He's not going anywhere. So we might as well just get used to enjoying him. Because it doesn't look like you're going to sign somebody now. So you're looking at least until the summer. And then what do you do? Even if you sign a striker, like Havertz is still going to find his way into the team somewhere. Like, he's just not going to be a guy that finished chances, and that's fine. If you have somebody that's going to score goals.
You can play the FA Cup. That's fine with me.
Wow. I mean, I think with Havertz, a lot of it is that he can be a versatility guy. Like, I wouldn't say that he should be the number 9 for Arsenal, but if he has to put in a shift there, he can. And then even if you need him in the midfield, he can be there. But I really do think he can be useful to Arsenal's system. So that's why I think it just makes sense right now. But at the end of the day, he got his goal, another GA in the season, and we can move on. To last but not least, that other kid, Ethan Nwaneri, man. Ethan Nwaneri. Oh, see, I don't want to keep talking about it because I feel like I've talked about him for a while. But another good goal off a cameo run. What do we think?
I turned that shit off once Havertz scored.
Wow.
That's
it was beautifully placed. I mean, Ortega kind of just stood there. He was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm not trying anymore. I can't see where his vision was. He might have been a little bit blinded by the defender. But, I mean, perfectly placed. Whether he saw it or not, I don't think he was going to save it. But, I mean, I love to see it. The kid's balling out. Balling out against Man City of all teams as well.
Arsenal's academy is just helping them through these times, and it's really good to see because even though Starboy Saka's not there yet, you're grinding out, getting results, and you're doing what you need to do to stay within a title race. Not saying they're in it fully, but they're keeping close, and I think that's what you need to do at this time. In terms of next steps here, just quickly on City, they have quite an interesting schedule coming up. This might be the fall off, and I can't wait to see it. I don't know if you guys see the schedule yet, but
they've conceded more goals than Manchester United have this season.
Well, Manchester isn't red or blue. It's just bad.
How is that possible? City have, let's look here. City have Madrid in the Champions League, Newcastle, then Madrid in the Champions League again. Then they have Liverpool, and that's kind of the end of it. I'm not going to count Spurs as like a big game, but those 4 games in a row, I mean, but
Don't forget about Nottingham after that.
Yeah, Nottingham after Spurs, but like we keep saying this is going to be the end of City, and it's like it kind of already is the end of City. Like I don't think I don't think with Pep they're ever going to be in a position where they're 8th. Like they're basically at their floor right now. Like it can't really get much worse. Like
We'll see.
like finishing 5th is probably the absolute
Ideal
of what they can do.
No, I understand.
They've surprised me the whole season with how bad they've been. But I just can't envision them not being in the Champions League next season.
Smitty, I completely hear you and I understand you. But I just want to let you know, this isn't coming from a place of logic. It's coming from a place of hate.
I know.
I need to see them be bad. No one has really seen them be bad. All the Man City fans we know haven't really seen the bad Man City. This needs to be the absolute fall off, and I need them to be terrible. That's all. And I hope it happens. I really do.
We can hope, but we're all smart enough to know that this probably will not be a very prolonged situation where they're ash. It just won't be. Like, because they're just going to keep spending money until they get it right. And no one's going to do anything about it. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, no, I get it. Lando, any final thoughts here on your Gunners title race contention, Champions League, anything? Like what's going on?
I mean, we're gonna be 9 points back after Liverpool plays Everton on Wednesday. So
you're saying that pretty bold. Who knows? At Goodison Park, anything's possible.
Did you just see their last match?
Everton's?
Yep.
I did actually.
Wait, hold up. I'm thinking of.
I did actually.
I'm thinking of. Sorry, I was thinking about who.
Got him.
That was Nottingham Forest. Sorry, I thought they played.
I know.
My bad,
But no, you're good. I think we can end it perfectly with after the final whistle at City Arsenal. Their speakers started playing "Humble" by Kendrick Lamar. So, Man City hold that. Arsenal, congrats on the 5-1 win.
Yeah, but we're telling them to hold it, but this is exactly what Holland was saying. Like, playing humble is hilarious. What have you done?
Okay, no, if you wanted to start,
relax.
No, I'm not.
Relax.
No, I'm not. Hating. I'm just saying this is what Holland was talking about, though. Am I wrong?
They finally snatched City's chain. Like we can't let them
snatch their chain.
They just beat them 5-1.
How's that not a snatch? They don't care about that chain. Holland, I can guarantee you right now. Holland went down to the locker room, and they were probably telling him the craziest shit. And he was probably laughing at him like, "You're still not going to be Premier League champion. That's crazy." And he's right, partially. Like they're ass. He can't say like we're better than you, but he can still laugh and be like, "You're still not the best team in the league."
Yeah, I mean, I get it. So let's actually move to the first place team in the Prem. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Now, I feel like in terms of quality, this was overall the best quality match on the weekend, just in terms of displays and just both teams. But Smitty, I'll let you lead the discussion here.
I mean, that's a general consensus at this point, where every time Liverpool plays, it's like, that was the most entertaining game. It's because Liverpool play this style where it will be controlled at times, and there's other times where it's like, we're just going to crash the train into a wall, and we're going to see what happens. And that's what they do. But it's entertaining as shit. It's kind of a mixture of the best systems in football that we have seen in the past couple years. Like, you can see the flop style of football that is ingrained in all of the players, where it's like, we want to press, we want to be direct, we just want to get at teams. And then you see there's the slot style of football where it's like, we're just going to tone it back a bit. We're going to try to keep control. We don't want to give up 30 chances today. And Bournemouth did have their chances. Let's not get that wrong. Bournemouth had chances. But at the end of the day, they get another 3 points. And it's another game played. And it's another day closer to lifting a trophy. That's all I have to say. It's just
Okay.
another professional performance.
Lando, anything before I dive in here?
No, I mean, yes, I think it was a thrilling matchup. Obviously, just watched the highlights, but just looking at the stats, 14 shots for Bournemouth, 19 for Liverpool. Both of their attacks have been on fire as of late. So, kind of, I mean, Bournemouth should have had a few goals. I mean, Semenyo and Kluivert missing a wide open net.
Miss of the season potentially.
Yeah, but I mean, Semenyo played great. I mean, from everything I saw, all the highlights were about Semenyo. And then Kluivert, obviously, still in form as of late, but obviously Liverpool. I mean, the king himself, Salah. I mean, penalty. Do we want to talk about penalty? Because
Yeah, no, we can dive right into it. I know when I first saw it, I didn't think it was a penalty, but then I also learned that the referee of the game was the same person who messed up the Luis Diaz challenge last season. So I'm not going to speculate anything, but my general consensus was that it shouldn't have been a pen. I didn't see any argument from Bournemouth like players, which is kind of confusing to me, but I don't know.
There's video of the Bournemouth players saying it was a pen. So I don't know what you want to do with that information.
I don't know what I watched.
Like, he clipped them, and again, it goes back to VAR. It's like, once it's given on the field, and then you watch the video in slow-mo and you can see that he clipped them, you can't overturn it. Like, if they didn't give a pen on the field and they went to VAR, it probably wouldn't have been a pen. But it's like, once you already give it, how can you overturn it? Because it's clear they touched them.
When I watched it, I don't know, it looked like his two legs collided and he tripped himself. That was my initial when I first watched it, and that reminded me of a time where I got a yellow card for doing that against St. Bonaventure in the spring, and I almost wanted to chase the referee around the field for that. So that gave me a little bit of PTSD on that PK, because I know how that felt as an outside back. I mean, I did not think it was a penalty kick. Looked more so that his heel clicked his foot, but it is what it is, and I'll take Mo Salah goal any time of the week.
Yeah, for fantasy purposes, of course, because you are an Arsenal fan, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like the bigger discussion that we can have, but I don't want to talk about too much, is that, like Smitty said, once it gets called on the field, you think VAR is going to overturn one of the ref's decisions? No, it's not going to happen. It has to be an egregious call for them to actually turn over. Because we just know Pig Mall and VAR and whoever, they're all going to stick together. At the end of the day, they're just thinking, as long as we have our own thing going on, whatever the public says, it doesn't matter. They just have to stick to their loyalties, and that's honestly what I think about the pen.
The referees on the field should not be the same referees that do VAR. I said this when we started this podcast. Yes. Why can't they have one guy just sit in the goddamn television room and have all the games on at once? They could have one guy do VAR every single game. Every single game. Yeah. One guy could do it all.
It's not because it's not all these challenges happen at the same time. I hear it.
You know, what? There's a max 3 games going on at once. They can have the same guy doing VAR every single week. And he doesn't have to be buddies with the guys on the ref that at the Christmas party at the end of the year, they're going to be hammered talking about how we hate Liverpool and Klopp's an asshole. They shouldn't be associated. It's that simple. There's no reason for them to be associated.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. At the end of the day, though, you still have to make the pen, and that's exactly what Mo Salah did. It was interesting because I would say, sticking to the first half, it was a bit quieter from his end. But even so, I think with Liverpool in general, it was more of a business, just professional first half performance. Bournemouth did create all these chances. I can talk about how all their defenders were very just confident and brave on the ball, dribbling in, inverting in this Lewis Skelly role, doing all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if you don't finish your chances against the big teams like Liverpool, how do you expect to get the win?
That's what
I
Slot said after the game. He said the biggest difference in the game is we have Mo Salah on our team and they don't. And I think that's true. Like, if Bournemouth get the same chances that Liverpool get, they probably don't score twice. And that's been a situation that has happened a few times so far with Liverpool this season, where there's games where they haven't been completely dominant and in control, but they have brilliant attackers that find the way to get the job done.
Yeah, and I completely agree. It's those type of performances where it is worthy of like champion status. I would say, in terms of just unsung heroes that probably won't get talked about much during the game, that I actually thought put in a shift, the first person I want to call out is Allison, because I haven't seen much of him with his hamstrings that are made out of paper. He did make some quality saves that kind of, I don't want to speak for Liverpool fans, but it brought the feeling back. It was like,
he's back.
This is the Allison that everyone recognizes.
It might be back.
Exactly. And the second one I want to talk about, I know there was rumors going around this January about a particular left back trying to get signed to Liverpool, Milo Kirkez. Andy Robertson must have read the reports, because that was a proper Andy Robertson performance. And I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing for Liverpool, because I know they're supposed to move on from him. But
brother, just give him a chance. Just give him a chance. Just support him. Just support him. Give him a chance.
One chance is all it takes.
Completely different situation,
Absolute
Lando.
fraud.
Completely different situation, Lando. That's like me telling you that you should sign Raheem Sterling on a permanent deal and be like, you know what? He's 30 years old. He has no legs left. Let's support him. Give him a chance. He's going to change the season.
He could be back in his prime.
Yeah, right. Andrew Robertson. 3 days after playing center back in the Champions League, puts in that performance. It was a vintage Robbo performance.
That was such a good performance.
Where he's just run around and have energy, which he doesn't have anymore. But
yeah, but even at the end of the day, like, he was still making last-ditch challenges in the 1v1 battles. I'm like, who is this guy? I haven't seen him in a while. Like, it was good to see. I'm like, oh, familiar face. Welcome back.
Kirkez was good, though, too.
You want to speak on him?
The left side of Bournemouth was class. Kirkez and Semenyo just running at people direct, getting at Trent, which all teams should do at this point. And they should have scored. They really should have scored, but they didn't.
I think just a couple more call-outs. I feel like McAllister was a bit off today. I think after he got the yellow and he wasn't really able to get into the game too much. But at the end of the day, when you have a team of just absolute ballers, if one goes down, the other 10 are stepping up. Any thoughts there on any other players you want to talk about? Or
Szoboszlai had his classic couple game a month hair flick performance.
Yeah.
Where he forgets how to use the ball at his feet and he just runs around and gets pictures taken of him.
The best looking man in the Premier League. According to Benny.
I mean, he is. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't want to go down that route, but
we'll have to drop the clip. For the viewers, we'll have to drop the clip.
He is a beautiful looking man, but I mean, Gravenberch again, like, just standard procedure with him. I mean, the one situation he was in on the sideline where he spun out, I don't know, but I think, as a Liverpool fan, I will say this is one of my biggest concerns is a situation like Gravenberch where Slot's turned them into an absolute demon. It's going to make the owners think we don't have to buy anybody. They're just going to be like, oh, Robertson's going to be able to have this transformation, and he's not. And that's like, I think that's my biggest concern with Liverpool right now is like, I think they're going to win the league. I'm 97% confident they're going to win the league, and I think they'll give it a real go in the Champions League as well. But if you don't figure out what you're doing in terms of Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah, you're going to have serious, serious problems moving forward. And I know this week Slot came out and said, like, yeah, we're not going to be active in this transfer window because we're planning on having a big summer to propel ourselves into the position to win trophies for years and years to come. Well, that kind of makes me think that they might let all three of them walk and they're going to start over, which is insane to me.
I mean, I guess that can go into one of my final questions for Liverpool before I talk just a tiny bit more about Bournemouth. This episode's probably going to come out right after the transfer deadline, Smitty. What do you think's going to be the situation with Liverpool here? Maybe Salah, Trent, Van Dijk. What if you had to take a guess right now? How do you think this is going to end for the January transfer window?
Well, I don't think anything is going to happen now. Like I think it's gonna prolong itself into the summer potentially. Like we might get to the end of the season and we won't know if they'll be there next year. I think Van Dijk's the most likely to stay. I would say I'm fairly confident that Van Dijk's going to stay. I mean, Salah's going to have the opportunity to make like $1 million a week probably, tax-free.
Yeah.
So with that situation, it's going to come down to how motivated is Salah to keep climbing the Premier League all-time goal scorer list. And if that's his main motivation, I think they'll be able to make the money work and he'll stay too. Trent, no idea in the world. No idea. I think the best chance for them to get Trent to stay is to show some ambition and be like, hey, we're going to bring in these guys and we're going to keep trying to win. But if they just continue with the team they have now and be like, Trent, sign, we'd all be tempted to go to Madrid because they're
his
set
best
up.
friends over in Madrid.
Yeah, they're set up to go again. So I think Trent's the most uncertain one for sure.
Fair enough. Yeah, mentioning those three, Salah's second goal was absolutely class. And when you're mentioning the $1 million, maybe it should be more. This is Mr. Inevitable. I totally understand it. And his situation at Liverpool probably shouldn't have got to this point. But just quickly back to the game. Oh, go ahead.
It doesn't help Liverpool's case that City are paying Haaland $800,000 a week.
Yeah, that contract did not do them any favors. Lando, you mentioned this a bit earlier. Kluivert. So Tavernier hit the post. Kluivert did not get the rebound. Is that miss of the season for you?
For me?
Like, is that...
No, King Kai takes that. Oh, my God. That one's worse. That was...
My question...
I give Kluivert some credit because that bouncing of a ball at that speed is not easy. As much as it looks like an open net and they're paid all this millions of dollars to perform, that is not the easiest of strikes to make to keep it down because it's coming back at you with so much force. The ball is spinning. You really got to get that leg over it, and he did one of the classics. Open the foot, straight up goes.
Rosette.
So definitely not the miss of the season for me. As much as I would have liked to see that gone in for my Premier League team, I still think King Kai can hold that reign. I'm sure there's some other ones, or you give it to Kai Havertz because he needs something in his life.
That's what, when I saw it, I think the initial reaction was, like, holy shit, that was really bad. But I think if you watch it on replay and have it slowed down a little bit, as guys that played, you understand how that happens, and it's not like the most uncommon thing in the world to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you play the game, then you understand like how difficult that challenge actually is, even though to the naked eye, you're probably thinking you should score that. But yeah, Bournemouth did play well. You just got to finish your chances. The final two notes that I had on here was, one, hopefully Tyler Adams doesn't have any more kids. I don't know if you guys saw the end of the game where he got absolutely blasted where you don't want to get blasted.
I don't know about you, but did Tyler Adams add a little muscle? He's looking a little bulky.
I don't know. He's still running everywhere. I would say he's a bit out of his depth in terms of midfield battles today, but he's still running. He was still running everywhere.
I just thought it looked like he put on a little muscle. I haven't seen him play in a while though, so that could
Yeah,
be that too.
Could be the mushy peas and the fish and chips. Who knows? Who knows? But
Get him back to
the
McDonald's in America. Get him some of them
yeah,
fries.
Yeah. Oh,
the
Big Mac,
McAdams.
chicken nuggets.
Wow, the McAdams meal will go crazy.
Cooking the food in beef tallow, he'll gain back
Yeah.
some more weight.
The second and final one I had with Bournemouth was, I guess, going off of Tyler Adams too. I don't know if you guys noticed, why was everyone just getting bloody noses, bloody lips? Like, it looked like it was a bloodbath, but it really wasn't. Like, did you guys notice that?
Man, this was a proper Premier League game. Like,
Like,
like if you would have said 10 years ago that like Bournemouth and Liverpool would have been a big game, you'd be like, shut the hell up. And
yeah.
it's like, it's so funny because there's a lot of teams in the league. Forest, like they're playing in these massive games. And I hope Bournemouth gets some European football too. Spread the wealth out. Like, let's go. Let's drop City down to the championship. Let's let some other teams have a go.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I
we're not
completely agree.
like, I'd love to see Brighton get in there, but Brighton, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean,
Well,
what
we
is
get
doing?
there.
I
We'll,
mean,
we'll get there.
I mean, I don't know how long we're going to talk about Brighton. I think we can wrap up Liverpool because it's the same story every week. They're a professional team with a manager that has come into the league and he's done great things. And I don't think we can go without stating that. But the other teams have fallen off a little bit. You'd expect them to be in this position given the circumstances of other teams in the league.
Yeah, I think that's completely well said. Wrapping up Bournemouth and Liverpool, I did want to call out all those bloody lips and just bloody noses. It reminded me of a particular group of Duquesne teammates who went to West Virginia on spring break. But you know what? That's not the point. The point is that Bournemouth is perfectly fine. They're gonna get European footy if they keep playing like this, and they're gonna be fine. Listen up.
I was not mentally prepared for that call out right there. Oh my.
Do we want to go to the game that Smitty was talking about? Because I know there's a lot of big games, but this had to be the shock of the weekend, right?
The Nottingham Forest game?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought played Everton. So that's my bad. The blue and white logo. Get them mixed up sometimes.
Of course.
No, I mean, it's a great bounce back from a 5-0 loss the prior week to
Bournemouth.
So I mean, Chris Wood getting a hat trick. Alon got 3 assists.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the game.
Alanga and Chris Wood. No, you're good. Alanga and Chris Wood. Alanga hat trick of assist. Chris Wood, just another hat trick. I can't believe Benny has him in his fantasy team. We really thought it was a meme at this point. If I had Chris Wood in my team, I feel like I'd be competing with you and Smitty. But at the end of the day, Nottingham, you know what you're gonna get with them. It's just more of the fact that they dropped 7. Like the game was a bit early, and it wasn't something I wanted to particularly wake up for. So that's why I was kind of just like dazed in, dazed out and seeing the highlights. But when you see some of the saves that Nottingham was making too, like there was one on Danny Welbeck that like was a goal line, or Sells saved it, like palmed it against the crossbar, and then that hits the goal line, doesn't go over. He's making some other fascinating saves. But every time Nottingham attacked, they scored. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. It was like they're the most prolific like team in the Prem. I feel like with my question, I guess, Chris Wood and Anthony Alanga, is this the most dynamic 2-man in the Prem? Like, what is going on here?
And any time you lose 7-0 in the Prem, I think it's not a sign of a bad day. If you lose 7-0, you might be a bad team. And I think you have to realize that. And I think Brighton, here's my issue with Brighton. And I love Brighton. I love the club. I love how they build up these players and make them brilliant. I think Brighton have gotten in this habit of getting managers that will only work with world-class players. Like, I still believe that if Pep ever leaves City, that De Zerbi should go manage City and he'd do a great job. I think Herzler's kind of in the same boat. I think to play the style that they want to play, where it's highly possession based and it's pressing, and you need to have the best players in the world to do it at the level. And I think Brighton's kind of getting in this position where their managers are getting better than the players, and they have players that are going for 100 million every year.
Matoma almost went for 100 to.
Well, that's
to Saudi.
fake. I mean, dude, and that shows how well Brighton's ran. Like,
Yeah.
the idea that they can turn down 100 for Matoma and they don't even care. Like, if anyone else in the league had Matoma and $100 million offer, they'd be like, dude, I'll fly the plane myself. I'm the captain now. I'll take him to Saudi myself. And Brighton didn't do that. So they're one of the best well-run clubs in the league. But if you lose 7-0, I mean, you might just be a bad team and not a bad day. It's sad.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because I said it before on the pod. At some point, Brighton's record was 60 wins, 60 losses, and 60 ties. What are they? 11th place right now or something? Mid-table. It's exactly what you expect from Brighton. And although the managers might keep getting better, it's at what point are you going to realize or the ambition to get to a European spot just simply isn't there right now. Well, something I did come across as well, because we don't have to spend too much time here. Brighton beat Bournemouth 5-0. Bournemouth beat Nottingham 5-0. And Nottingham beat Brighton 7-0 today or yesterday. So it's really interesting just to see the parity within the league, how everyone is just beating up on each other. But yeah, just not a good day to be Brighton. As the commentator said, Brighton's usually bright, but not today. That's all I got.
We've had our few shares of 7-0 losses as well, so
Hey,
we know
yo.
exactly.
Hey,
we
why
know
you bring
exactly.
up this a bit less?
I think
So-
it only
we
happened
know
once.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I was not on the
Oh.
pitch. I was not on the pitch for any of the wins either, but I was definitely not on the pitch for that one.
Nah, they forced me on that pitch after someone got a red card. I didn't want to be like, wait, you want me out there?
Yeah, so we know exactly what the Brighton team members did after that game. So, maybe next week, Brighton. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Let's quickly go through some of these other results.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything you really want to talk about. 4-0 Everton. I mean, good result from them.
Quick one here. So Everton's last goal, I genuinely think that was U12 team defending. If you guys want to see it, please do. Next thing here, Lando, I know you had a bit of a tough week. Do you need a hug? Do you need a tissue? Do you need anything? Because I did see Beto's celebration, and he did hit the LeBron celly. I just didn't want that to bring any bad memories to you or anything.
No,
You
it's all right,
okay?
dude. I've gotten over it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, David Moyes, new manager bound still. He's rolling. 4-0 against Leicester. Wait, actually,
They're still 16th.
there is one thing I did want to ask you real quick. I need your help here. You sent me something earlier this week, and it was about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Do you want to explain what you saw?
Oh, so I think with the Pittsburgh Pirates, if you don't know American baseball, the Pittsburgh Pirates are notoriously known for being probably one of the most horribly run organizations, not just in baseball, probably in all of sports. We're talking about an organization that I would personally say is worse than what the Mavericks just did by trading Luka Doncic. This is a professional sports team. They sent out a yearly survey to their fans. Let me read a couple of these questions. To what extent do you agree with the following statement? The Pittsburgh Pirates are an organization that cares about building a winning team. Overall, what is your impression of the Pittsburgh Pirates? Do you perceive the Pittsburgh Pirates as a prestigious organization?
Prestigious is crazy.
Overall, do the Pittsburgh Pirates make you feel satisfied as a fan? To what extent do you agree with the following statement? This is the last one I'll read. The Pittsburgh Pirates are committed to on-field performance and improvement. This is a professional sporting team that is sending out these surveys to their fans. Now, Leicester, you should do the same thing. You should be asking your fans, to what extent does Leicester Football Club care about winning? And if you were in the portion of the poll that clicks agree or somewhat agree, you need to get your brain checked because you might have rocks in it. You are an idiot. You need to stop supporting that football club. You are the problem. You have Jamie Vardy, and I'll be honest, last week, Jamie Vardy, who did they play last week? They played Spurs. They played Spurs last week and won 2-1. And Jamie Vardy pointed at the badge. Jamie Vardy, I love you. You're a great player. Next season, you're going to be pointing at that badge. It's going to say championship on it and not Premier League. Because of your own incompetence. That's the problem. It's the incompetence of the entire Leicester City organization. Not just the manager, not just the players, everybody involved.
That's a perfect way to sum up Everton Leicester, and we can move on.
But Everton's the same way, so I won't give them any credit either. They're a shit show too. You fired.
You're the Liverpool fan, so I'll let you get it is what it is.
You bring in David Moyes after sacking Sean Dyche. That alone should tell you all you need to know. Congratulations on the win. You will be staying up. Good for you.
We'll talk about these next 3 games real quickly. I think there's 2 more games that we want to have a little bit on, but Southampton 2-1 over Ipswich. We got Fulham 2-1 over Newcastle, and Aston Villa losing 2-0 to Wolves. Those 3 games, I don't have too much to talk about.
What were Newcastle though?
So I actually wanted to watch that game, and from what I saw, it wasn't a typical Newcastle display in the first half. I think what we know with Newcastle is that they love to just press, they love to just wreak havoc, they love to just cause chaos. And they kind of gave Fulham a bit of respect. I would say it wasn't until towards the end of the first half when Newcastle really got into their bag and they got their goal and everything was kind of buzzing. But at the start of the second half, they kind of didn't get anything going. And Fulham was like, all right, if we're going to keep it at 1-0, we might as well go for it. And that's exactly what they did. So shout out to them for getting the result at St. James's Park. And honestly, I think just it being Newcastle, you're just going to get these one-off results, but that's all I got.
I'm looking at the stats. Joel Linton got hooked after 64 minutes. He had a yellow card, and he lost 11 goals in the match.
Well, I didn't even want to talk about him because I already said my piece earlier, but if you want to do it, all he tries to do is just injure people. It's bad.
How do you lose 11 goals? How is that even good?
Because he's not good.
Oh, right.
He's Brazilian. He's Brazilian, and his name's Joelinton. I don't care. You're not good. You're not good. I'm over it.
All right, he's over it. We're moving on. 2 interesting results happening on Sunday. Spurs 2-0, finally back on the win column after an embarrassing loss last week. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think
comments.
I think the Brentford purple patch has ended. I think it was fun while it lasted, and now they're back to being a mid-table side, and that's the best they're going to be. I don't think it gets any better.
Yep, I agree. It was a big win for Spurs. I think they're still in 14th, though, which is unfortunate. But the fact that I can actually go on this podcast and talk about how Spurs defended well, I'm going to blame Brentford for that, because I should never be saying this season that Spurs defended well. But they got the own goal. They got the goal at the end.
Brentford did create 2 XG and had 20 shots, but only 4 were on target.
I was gonna say if you watch the highlights or anything, they were all half chances. Tottenham was actually blocking shots. It was a win that Tottenham needed. Shout out to
oh my god!
Shout out to what is his name? At Geo loves. I don't know his name. I wish I got it right. But shout him out. New Tottenham correspondent on the way soon. Yeah, they needed that. They needed that.
talking about someone who is in 13th place right ahead of them, taking a big L to Crystal Palace. Mateta putting 2 into the back of the net. Wow. At Old Trafford, what is Man United doing? What are they doing?
I don't know. Rashford's leaving. That's a good sign.
Yep.
I don't know if anything else is going well, but at least Marcus isn't going to be there.
And no, I chose peace, and I barely watched this game because you kind of knew it was going to happen when you see the starting 11 with Kobe Mainoo starting at a false 9. I don't know what you want me to say. Things started out hot for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then you just saw a typical Man United performance. First half, not too many chances created. Crystal Palace then just getting their, capitalizing on, I think it was a set piece for the first one, and then a goal at the end where Lenny Yoro tries to step up, and as a center back, if you're not the last person, you don't do that. But yeah, 2-0 Palace. Mateta's celebration is still one of the coldest in the game. I keep trying to tell y'all. And then Lissandro Martinez. I hope it's not a serious injury, because if that happens, then Man U's fighting relegation.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Who cares?
Hands down.
I think
Wow.
if you're United, let's be honest. I don't care about the results at this point. What's the difference if you finish 15th or 10th, right? I just want to see performances. I don't care if you win. I don't care if you lose. I just want there to be some sliver of hope at the end of the tunnel. And if you're a United fan, that's all you can hope for. I see United fans saying, oh, we have a fan. We could still finish 7th. It's you can't. You're not going to. You're not good enough. But you should just be focused on, can we get some good performances out of this manager that going into next season, we feel like, yes, we have a chance to finish top 6 next season. Because you don't want to get in the cycle where you're just consistently in the mid-table. Because if you stay in the mid-table, you're going to end up having to sack another manager. And nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think the people who are trying to say they want to finish 7th or 8th, they're worried about the wrong thing. You're simply worried about the wrong thing. It's not about your placement in the table. It's about your performances and looking forward to next year. Plain and simply. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's 13th jumped to 12th, 12th jumped to 13th. That's what happened in the table after the game. So, yeah, there's nothing to say about United.
Should be an absolute thrilling matchup next week with Man U versus Tottenham. That might be game of the week.
Right cheek versus left cheek. I cannot wait.
I might go down the middle.
Hey, yo.
As a draw, bro.
That's, that is something. That is something there.
That's where I was going. Hope everyone else saw the vision, but
yeah,
Kenny didn't have to react like that. It's guys childish.
The vision was blurry, brother. The vision
Absolute
was blurry.
child. Absolute child.
Vision was smelly. But anyways, is that the Prem roundup? I know you mentioned Southampton and Ipswich. That was just trash beating garbage up.
Villa.
Who cares that they played?
Villa.
Wow.
I remember
Villa
when I
was
said.
bad.
I remember when I said a couple months ago that Villa has no right playing Champions League football next season. Some people laughed at me. Well, let's look now. They aren't playing Champions League football. This team. I mean,
you don't think the transfer's going to do them any wonder?
So who'd they bring in? They brought in Rashford. They brought in Asensio.
Yep.
I think it all depends I think Watkins is staying. If Watkins leaves, then goodness gracious, that'd be really bad business. But, I mean, I don't think Marcus Rashford's going to move the needle. Maybe he's going to revitalize his career. Maybe he won't. I have no idea. Asensio, I don't follow enough of that man to know if he's going to make a difference or not.
It's such an interesting move. I think Unai Emery's just being a friend to Asensio, but that's fine. I think with that being said, that was the Premier League this weekend. Definitely a lot happening, a lot of moving pieces. Smitty, I think it's only right, since we started with with Luka and started with Anthony Davis. Instead of story time, since Mucky isn't available at the moment, you wanna give any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, all my NBA fans, I know that the league is growing into a worldwide game, and there are a lot of fans that support the NBA from all over the world, especially their foreign players. I know Giannis, Luka, and Nikola Jokic have a lot of fans out there. Now, if I was a Dallas Mavericks fan sitting on my phone last night on a beautiful Saturday evening, maybe had a couple drinks, maybe haven't, whatever you're into, if I looked down at my phone and I saw Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, and I believe it was one draft pick, I might go burn down the stadium myself. The American Airlines Arena. Now, I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but
I think I knew the joke you were going to say, but
if you were one of the fans of that team, I would be outside with the picket fences. I'd be outside yelling, F the Mavs, we don't love you anymore. We don't want Anthony Davis. I would be DMing Mark Cuban nonstop, even though he has no majority share in the team anymore, and I don't think he's making the basketball decisions. I just would need to get it off my chest.
Yeah.
To somebody, what are you doing? And then, from the outside, I learned that the Mavericks GM is the same guy that botched Nike's presentation for Steph Curry and made him go to Under Armour. This man has lost Nike maybe $1 billion. Is that what it would have been worth? Probably upwards of $1 billion.
It's up there. It's up there.
So your resume for your career is going to be, I screwed up Steph Curry to Nike, which was probably impossible to do, but he did it. And then he decided to trade a player that is a potential top 10 player to ever play basketball. That is his ceiling. You trade him for a 31-year-old with injury history, and I know he's an all-star, and I know Anthony Davis is a good player, but we're not talking about the same stratosphere here. We're talking about Jay-Z trading Beyonce for Miley Cyrus.
Wow.
That is what we're talking about here.
You know what that is? A wrecking ball. Continue.
It is a wrecking ball. So if you're a Mavericks fan, I feel extremely sorry for you. And I hope that you're able to get through this, because I'm not sure I would.
Yeah, to second that, I mean, definitely if we were still doing the losers a week, the Mavs organization definitely takes the L for that. Not only have they got rid of Luka Doncic, but they also got rid of Jalen Brunson the year prior. So they would have had two fantastic guards for the future.
They
no
have
longer.
Porzingis too.
Yeah.
So
They did.
very, very sad to see where that basketball team is headed. I mean, I did see some footage of some fans already outside of the arena. They started a little memorial service for Doncic outside on Dirk's statue. So be curious to see how that grows throughout the week. But yeah, hopefully Mavs fan had a few beverages in them, because
Yeah, no.
it may have helped. It may have helped slightly.
Can you see me? Am I centered into the camera?
You are centered. You are centered.
I hear the concern was that Luka Doncic got up to 270 pounds, and they were worried that his off-the-court issues revolving his habits were going to be the biggest issue. And here's my answer to that. I do not care if Luka Doncic was showing up to the game 15 beers deep with a pack of smokes in his hand, smoking cigarettes as he dribbles the ball up the court. You signed that man to the Supermax extension, and you don't ask any questions about what he's doing, because a man's ability to eat, smoke, and drink at the level that Luka probably does it has no impact on his ability to ball, because this guy can hoop. And if you have a guy that can hoop, you do not trade them for a guy that can wear street clothes on the bench a lot. And that is just not what you want to do as an organization. So God bless you, Mavericks fans. God bless America. God bless our troops. And we will see you on the next one.
My gosh, Smitty's getting everyone ready to run through a brick wall. But I think that's perfectly well said, and we can end it right there. Yeah, Mavs fans were sorry. City fans were not sorry because personally I don't like y'all. But at the end of the day, a Prem weekend was had, and so were some other sports dealings. But I'm Kenny. That's Smitty. That's Lando. And that's another episode of Remotely Related. We'll talk to you next week.
Come on, you
Peace.
Gunners.
Come on, Liverpool. Liverpool Football Club. Top of the league, top of the league, top of both leagues, assholes. See you later on the next one.